Well, it hasn't been a good time for the job market recently, that's for sure. Seems like we've been on a downswing for several months now. We've got an article here from Michael Rainey over at Yahoo Finance. Job market shows signs of further cooling, teeing up Fed rate cut. Now let's see what Michael has to say here. Job growth was a bit softer than expected in August, according to government data released Friday. Employers added 142,000 new jobs, falling short of expectations closer to 165,000. And see, that's the thing. You can technically add new jobs to the market, but if you come in with less jobs than what was originally expected and what was originally anticipated, it's still viewed as a bad thing. I think the other point that so often doesn't really get talked about is what kind of jobs are we adding? Are these, full-time jobs? Are they part-time jobs? Are they gig jobs? Are they private sector jobs? Are they government jobs? I would argue that these details do matter. It seems like more and more the economy loses, well-paying full-time jobs that support families and support the middle class. And in their place, we end up getting these part time jobs or these gig jobs that don't really support a middle class lifestyle. It seems like, at least, for the people that I know around me in my life, people are being forced to trade down jobs, and we're just sort of left to brush over that fact and move on. And when I say, trade down jobs, it might be trading a, full time 40-hour a week job for a handful of part-time jobs and maybe a gig job in the evening, right? And technically, from the government's perspective, if we lose a full-time job and in its place we get two new part-time jobs, from their perspective, we've actually added jobs. But the argument that I'm making is really the quality of jobs are just as important as the number of jobs that we're adding. Michael goes on here to say the gains for previous months were revised lower as well, knocking 86,000 jobs off of the tally for June and July. Now, if you don't know what Michael is referring to here, the BLS, or the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the federal government, they come out with monthly data on how many jobs were added or lost in the market. Quite often, they have to come back after they've shared their monthly jobs report and either revise that number up if there were more jobs added than what they had originally projected, or they could revise it down if there were less jobs added that month than what they originally projected. Well, the thing is, the BLS, or the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they have revised the job report lower for 7 straight months, I believe. And feel free to check me on that in the comments down below. But I don't think the numbers have really even been that close. I don't have them on me, but if I remember correctly, I believe they've had to revise the jobs report lower, somewhere between 50,000 and 100,000 jobs a month, lower than what they had originally stated. To me, that doesn't really breed confidence in the way that they're, projecting these numbers and showing these numbers to us. I understand why they would want to present the numbers in this way, right? Maybe go for a best case scenario up front, and then as time goes on, and you get more information, you slowly revise it lower. When these jobs numbers get released on a monthly basis, they make headlines. They get people talking, especially in times like these where there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. People are trying to parse through whatever data points they can get their hands on to come up with some kind of a narrative, whether it be good or bad. Now, if you have weakening job data on a monthly basis, especially significantly weakening, job data, it certainly presents a bad narrative that they maybe wouldn't want to necessarily share. So when they come back months later and they make these revisions to these numbers, down, it can kind of fly under the radar at that point and not really make those, headlines because, job numbers aren't being hit on a monthly basis, right? So I completely understand why they're doing it, and I don't want to necessarily assume that it's for a bad reason and that they're purposely trying to do this. But again, 7 months in a row, like I said, it doesn't breed confidence that they're doing their estimates correctly, that they're presenting the information correctly to us. And it leaves me to have to assume that every month when they do give out that jobs report, that, in the following months, they're just going to revise it lower. And again, I would argue that that doesn't really, like I said, that doesn't really present a good narrative either. One other point here in the article that I wanted to highlight is a statement from the White House. So here we go. The White House highlighted the big picture underlying the ongoing recovery. Thanks to the work to rescue the economy, nearly 16 million new jobs have been created. Wages and incomes are rising faster than prices. Businesses are investing in America, and millions of entrepreneurs are opening up small businesses. Acts of hope and confidence in our economy, President Joe Biden said in a statement. With inflation back down closer to normal levels, it is important to focus on sustaining the historic gains we have made for American workers. Now, I understand that it's his job as the president to say that. No president is going to go out and tell us that the job market is weakening and not doing so well on their watch. But is this what you all are feeling and seeing in the market? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm genuinely curious to hear if in your part of the country, either you or family members or friends are experiencing layoffs and difficulties in finding new jobs. I know in the market that I'm in, things are really tough out there, but I don't want to make an assumption that, just, because things are tough in my market, that's, necessarily indicative of, the US economy as a whole. So definitely let me know, like I said, in the comments section down below, how are things going in your neck of the woods? Certainly would be interested to know that. I want to scroll down here just a little bit to what the experts are saying. So the economy appears to be returning to something like normal as it downshifts from its post-pandemic high. This report does not indicate that we're taking another step toward a recession, but we're still seeing further signs of cooling. Sam Kuhn, an economist with the recruitment software company Appcast, told the New York Times, we're trending more closely to a 2019 labor market than the labor market of 2010 or 2011. Now, I don't know about all of you, but this market to me, this job market seems pretty far from normal. If this is what qualifies as normal, then I'm really interested to see what they would qualify as, what bad and really bad would look like. I disagree here with Sam Kuhn, this economist, with Appcast. I think further signs of cooling, do indicate that we're taking steps towards a recession, and I think it's unwise to necessarily assume otherwise. Especially with what we're seeing in the labor market currently, with the revisions that we've had that we discussed earlier, to these monthly job reports. I would argue that the labor market to me does look more like 2010 or 2011 as compared to 2019. I know 2019 was a very unique time in history. There was a lot going on in the world. 2010, 2011 is more indicative of a normal market cycle downturn. And I would argue that, based on what we're seeing, it seems like we're there. Now, obviously, can't say anything for certain, right? It's still too early to tell. With recessions, it's one of those things where, they always come back after the fact, right? We'll come back, maybe 2 years down the road and say, yep, the recession officially started in, Q3 of 2024 as an example. But it's really going to take more data and more time for the government to catch up maybe to what, you and I are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. So definitely let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think we're on the way towards a recession? Is this more like 2019? Does it feel to you more like 2010 or 2011? Or does it feel like something else? Definitely interested to hear your thoughts. But I think based on where we're at, where we're going, I think things are likely going to get worse before they get better. But again, That's my opinion. Certainly interested to hear yours down in the comments section down below. If y'all like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. This is a brand new YouTube channel, so any interaction is super helpful, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.